Tequila Seltzer, the #1 hard seltzer in the world and the official hard seltzer of Day Drinking with Dog. Ditch them all, add tequila.
Welcome back, Day Drinking with Dog. We are sitting here, me and a friend that I've been trying to get on this show since I started it. He's basically kind of blown me off, said, no, I don't do podcasts. I even tried to coerce his wife into influencing him to come on. It just never came to fruition until I post a picture of a fucking puppy on Facebook, and he's like, all right, I'm in. I didn't know the power of the puppies.
Is it for real? I didn't either, because I did not grow up, Jeremy, I did not grow up with pets. I've never owned a dog until, 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
When we took in, what do they call it when they're
The rescue?
A rescue,
yeah.
Yep. Which I tried to give back after about a week. And then my wife grabbed him. But long story short is I never thought I would be a dog person. I never thought I'd get a dog again. And it is one of the most important relationships in my life now.
First of all, Darik Pearson joins the show. Darik and the Funbags, the band, for how many years now? Just real quick.
It'll be 28 in September.
Do you know the first time I saw you was at, I can't name the bar, you'll probably remember it, but it was on Middletown on the river. That bar with the big deck outside. Yes. It's the first time I ever saw you guys.
What are you doing up there?
Fucking chasing you guys down. I heard you guys were the fucking shit back then. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Am I allowed to say it?
What?
The name of the place?
Yeah, it's not even, it's something different now, but what was it called back then?
125 Riverside Drive.
No, it was I mean, we're probably going back 25 years here.
In East Hartford?
No, Middletown.
Oh, Middletown. Oh, Harbor Park.
Harbor Park. Yes. Yeah. That's all right. Yeah, that's where I first saw you guys, and I was like, oh, these guys are awesome. Yeah. Plus, 25 years ago, I was 25. So. Yeah, you know how that goes.
Yeah.
Honestly, I just joke around, but thanks so much for coming on the show. I have been a big follower of yours. We had our Daniel Street days together. We used to play. Now you've been playing at Stonebridge a little bit in the last few years. It's a pleasure and an honor, and I want to start the show off with your battle. And obviously, you're very upfront on social media of what you're going through, and it's really hard to imagine what you are going through for someone that doesn't do the battle that you do on a daily basis, and still perform and work and a father and a great father at that. I see all the things you do with your kids and your wife, and it's an honor to be sitting here at this table with you.
Thanks, man.
Yeah,
those are very generous words, and thanks for having me here.
Of course.
And, I mean, it's I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. It is about as horrible as a thing a person can go through ever. It really just robs you of just about everything in your life, and I'm in this battle because I love this life that I have. Yeah. I love my family. I love my kids. I love my band. I love my community. I've had such a blessed life, and I'm not ready to let it go.
Yeah, good.
So, name of my Facebook group that I talk about this stuff is called No Stone Unturned. So, I don't want to depress your audience, so I'll just keep it on the surface. But once I kind of accepted the diagnosis, and for those who don't know my story, is I was diagnosed in 2020 with stage 4 prostate cancer. De novo, which means that right out of the gate it was metastasized. I am I think a 1% of men that get that aggressive of a prostate cancer at my age. I was diagnosed at 48. And it was obviously surprising, but it could have been avoided. And this is the message that I came to talk about today, is that, I was one of these people that didn't go to the doctors. I wasn't a typical 30-year-old. I was taking vitamins. I was trying to eat well. I had my vices, in my 20s and 30s, I drank and smoked and had a lot of good times. But I took care of myself, and so when I went to my primary care physician, and I had some blood in my urine initially, and I was mid-30s, I believe. And then again in early 40s. And at those times, they ran a PSA test. So a PSA test is just a simple blood test that costs next to nothing. And it just gives you an idea of the cells that are not supposed to be in your bloodstream. I mean, that's the most simple way that I can put it. The normal range is from 0.1 to 3.9. But for there to be a problem, anything over 0.1 is a red flag, depending on your circumstances. But because I didn't have a family history, so there's no genetics there, and I was young, my PSAs were coming in. The first one, I believe it was high 2s. The second one in my early 40s was high 3s. So my primary care physician, he didn't do anything wrong, but if there was more awareness, he would have said, this is strange. This guy is 40 years old. He's got a PSA in the high 3s. He has no family history, and he's young. It doesn't make any sense. Let's have you come back next year. Let's just keep an eye on it. That's it. That's all it would have took. I think it's like a $30 test. If I came back the next year, and of course, it's like I'm like every other 34 or 40-year-old at that time.
We're just
right? It's like
living our life, doing our thing.
Yeah, and I was having like back pain. I'm like changing my mattress every other month, and it was tumors that were growing in my spine. And the thing is that it's tricky when you hit 40, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't know what's old age,
Right.
You don't know what's something to be concerned about,
Right.
So it was a lot of timing, like just a lot of bad timing. I was diagnosed in 2020, COVID. I was having incontinence type symptoms. February, I was actually up in Vermont at Dave Cofrancesco's house, and I remember turning to him. Is it a PG show?
No.
Okay. I remember turning to him and saying, like, just kind of goofing around at the time and saying, when you get past 40, is it like really hard to pee?
Right.
And of course, everybody's like, oh yeah, you gotta wait, dude. You got a lot more coming than that, bro.
Yeah.
And you just kind of
You chalk it up. I'm getting older. Yeah.
But there's this little voice in your gut that's saying, I don't know, something ain't right. And my gut would have brought me to the doctor, but you couldn't get a doctor's appointment.
Oh yeah, they're gonna do some telemed.
Yes.
Bullshit.
I couldn't even get that.
Really?
So by the time that I saw my primary care physician, it was September. My PSA was in the high 50s, I believe. A month after that, it was in the 70s. So, and then he sent me for a biopsy, and the rest is history. But there was no chance. There was no chance at that point. So the message is, people, if you are in your 40s or even, I mean, it really applies to anybody. And
Right.
You could be in your 30s,
Right.
And, if you do get a PSA test for whatever reason, and it's more than 0.1, just be aware.
Yeah.
It's not to say there's anything wrong.
Right.
But when they talk about early detection, it's not just a tagline. It is everything. And you have to think about it like this, is if you have one weed in your yard, you could take care of it pretty easily, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it's not going to be great. Like that dandelion, you can either cut it out, you can spray it with some Roundup and poison it, or you can burn it, right? You're going to ruin that little piece of the yard for a while, but then
It'll come back.
It'll come back and grow. But once that dandelion goes white and the wind comes and it blows those seeds all over the yard, it's either, what are you going to do? You're going to set the whole yard on fire?
Right.
That's radiation, right? What are you going to do? You're going to cut the whole thing out? That's surgery. You know, are you going to spray it all with poison?
Right.
That's chemotherapy.
Right.
That's the sad reality. Don't let that dandelion blow in the yard.
Yeah.
And
That's a great analogy. Yeah. So you've been through it all. The chemo, I know you've done a lot of trials and stuff, right?
Yeah. I don't want to get too in the weeds with this. I have not done traditional chemotherapy, which is the docetaxel and toxine, the real nasty stuff, and not necessarily in protest of anything. It's more of one of those things where it's like I will keep that tool in my pocket and use it only if absolutely necessary, because I am a believer that although it is effective, it's also creates a lot of other weeds.
Yeah.
So I'm a little hesitant to do that. So that's why I have been trying different trials. They've come a long way. Immunotherapy is come a long way, but it's all very, very new, and it's all very, very fresh.
Yeah.
I landed, those who are following I landed into the ICU after my first injection on this trial, and I've been out of work for the last 3 months.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, my social life has been pretty much nurses and doctors up until this point. It's just one of the reasons why I wanted to come on this podcast today and start to try to acclimate,
No, I'm so happy you came. Like you said, we don't have to go crazy with this, but I really do want to harp on, my grandfather died of colon cancer, so I'm obviously at risk. I actually probably waited a little too long, but I did have my first colonoscopy. They said 45. I got it at 49. But I was good. I was clean. My mother just beat breast cancer at the young age of 79.
That's amazing.
And the whole reason was, at an age like that is she'd always, because her sister had it. So she always checked herself and got, 6 months, screenings and it's we could have a whole debate about healthcare in this country, but I think you spend the money up front to get these tests is going to save you a lot on the back end if you can catch something early, like you said, and catch that dandelion, and it's it is what it is.
Save yourself the pain, man. I mean, I know it's inconvenient, and for some people it's uncomfortable, but trust me, cancer is more uncomfortable. Do it. I'm not here to preach to you.
No.
It's your life, know. But if you're one of these people sitting at home right now listening to this, and you're like, I got something going on, maybe I should check it out. Go check it out.
And if you don't, I like my doctor. I have, at odds with him sometimes about certain things. I just think he speeds me out of the office, if you know what I mean.
That's the system.
Yeah, fast talk, get me in and get me out. It's all about, numbers and nothing else, and medicine. And
it's not their fault.
No, it's not. I've been saying for, a few years now, ever since I've gone down rabbit holes of shit, it's just doctors, the saying I always say in this show is they practice medicine, they haven't perfected it.
That's right.
So
that's right.
I don't know. Have you gone to any holistic people?
I was over here doing a salt yoga.
Yeah?
Yesterday, as a matter of fact.
No kidding. Where's that?
That is my friend Jen Moritz opened up a salon. Plug for Jen.
Nice.
Fantastic, by the way, too. So they do 3 therapies there. They have red light therapy, they have a salt room, and then they have a red light sauna in there. And this was all inspired by Jen's mom had cancer.
Yeah.
And she had gotten relief from the red light therapy. So Jen had turned this into his business, and
good for her.
It's fantastic.
Awesome.
Yeah. I've done, I've ran the gamut.
Yeah.
You know, I've ran the gamut. When I decided that I was going to choose to live and fight, because I want to make sure everyone understands what fighting means and fighting cancer. It's how much pain can you deal with? That's literally what it comes down to.
Right.
You know, that's your fight. You know, how much pain can you tolerate, and how far are you willing to go with it? So, you know, it's like I don't care what people think. If there's any kind of validity to it, and it's not going to be toxic to me, I'm going to try it.
Yeah.
I drank food grade hydrogen peroxide for a month. I have done the whole fenbendazole thing with the the goat dewormer.
Oh yeah.
Ivermectin.
Yeah.
Jesus, I mean, there's so much blue methylene.
Yeah. I remember Mel Gibson talking about that.
Yeah,
on,
you know,
Rogan
so I mean,
show.
there's I mean, you can just get lost in this stuff, and I would say that the battle of research, which I consider myself a researcher at this point, if not an expert to a certain extent, which my oncologist even comes to me for
questions.
Things.
He's got questions for you.
And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying that to illustrate how much work I put into learning my disease and everything I could know about it. So it's taken me down a lot of rabbit holes. And, you know, the supplement game, that's another one, you know, where people get wrapped up in these supplements because it's like you could take one supplement, take their claim, you know, and you're into that, right? And then there's another one that claims the same thing, and you will get lost. And trying to vet through what is actually effective and what's just total utter bullshit. That's the fight there with the holistic end of things.
Yeah.
And of course, I mean, everybody's trying to make a buck.
Of course.
So you have to weed through that. But you eventually land in a place of what I call my logic making apparatus, if you will, you know, and that's how I discovered a podcast. One of the first podcasts that I came across was a doctor by the name of Peter Attia, and he's incredible. I mean, this guy is very new age. You know, he calls it medicine 3.0. You know, it's a lot of the things that were ringing true for me when I was listening to RFK talk about the healthcare system, and which is what made me, you know, go, I want to listen to this.
Yeah.
And that's probably a great pivot to where we have come, you know, as a society now, where we all get locked in our echo chambers. And that's it. That's every opinion that we have, everything that we approach, or we see the world, or we react to it. It's just from our logic-making apparatus. So if there's only two logic-making apparatuses, whether it's MSNBC or Fox News at the time, you know, now that's evolved since then.
Yeah.
But this is where we were, right? And it's like, depending on what you watched, that was the fight you were staking down, and nobody wanted to step outside of their tent.
Yeah, I think a good point to that too is I don't think people realize it. I don't think people that watch MSNBC or Fox News realize that if they get into a discussion, a debate, an argument, that they're really just regurgitating what was told to them instead of.
And it's what we all do.
You know,
I do that.
People like to say, well, if you're a critical thinker and stuff like that, but like, I like to form my opinions on what's in front of me. Do I watch Fox News? Yeah, but not too much. I don't really watch any of the other stuff unless Shark Tank's on CNBC. You know, it's become, I don't know, we're pretty much the same age. Like when we grew up, you know, it was Peter Jennings and Dan Rather and who was the guy? There was one more guy there. Ted Koppel.
Oh yeah, Ted Koppel. Actually, Walter Cronkite.
Yeah, he was a little before us. Yeah. You know, and it's I don't know if we were just young and didn't really pay attention. I just didn't see the way it slanted towards a certain party. I didn't see that back then.
Yeah.
Nor was I looking for that.
So you were paying attention to politics.
I was. You know why? You know what got me into politics? Was Michael Dukakis.
Okay.
So, because I was 8th, 9th grade, somewhere in there, 7th, 8th grade, I think. And he was the governor of Massachusetts. So I was living in Massachusetts at the time. And I wanted him to win. I didn't know why. Just because he was from Massachusetts.
Right.
I didn't really know his policies or any of that stuff. I was freaking, 14 years old or whatever. But that's what kind of made me notice, politics a little bit. And, then the kids were running for class president and all this stuff. And I knew some people that were, town people. And, I voted for Clinton in 92 in high school. I liked Clinton, but you don't have Twitter or Facebook, all this, like you said, these echo chambers and these, like, I laugh every morning I go on Twitter because, like, I'll see, some far left or far right person write something, and then it's just like, every comment is going to be from the opposite, and it's like, why even, like, I fall victim to it sometimes. I'll comment on stuff, but I just try not to anymore. But I just laugh now. It's like, you can't win. Like, we were going to talk about stocks, right?
Yeah.
So, like, obviously it went down for 3 days, and then it blasted up yesterday, and now, like, Adam Schiff is like, oh, we're going to investigate. I'm like, it's just like, you guys, like, all just chill out for a second. Like, they're, like, literally saying that Trump is a fucking scheme. Like, what? These guys don't need any more money. I don't understand, like, that logic to it, but it's literally like New England weather. It changes every fucking day, and I don't understand why people just even bother to argue online, or disown your family member because they like Trump or they like Biden. Like, I just don't.
Oh, they're victims.
Yeah, it's just it's crazy.
I stopped being a victim. Well, mostly because of my journey, so because of I'm searching for truth in my battle. It's bringing me down these different pathways that I probably normally wouldn't. So I'm hearing the voices of people that I'm not normally listening to.
Me too. Yeah,
and it's that's the value. That's the value. You don't have to agree with anyone.
No.
But to shut them out and not listen, that's where I think that's where at least my engagement, changed.
Yeah.
Because if you get into a conversation with someone who just cares about winning the argument, there's no point.
Because they're never going to back down. They're never going to admit they're wrong.
You're gonna regurgitate your talking points. I'm gonna say my talking. And this was me in social media. Prior to that, right? It was like, okay, it's like, I have a platform here. I can't let this nonsense go on. I'm going to be the truth sayer, and I'm not taking any sides, but I could feel that most people think I'm liberal because of the stances I'm taking on these issues, and I am an issue. I'm like you. I look, I see, and how does this feel to me? And then I might listen to, it's like, well, what's the argument against? What's the argument for?
Right.
We stopped doing that.
Yeah.
We've literally stopped doing that. And the saddest part about it and these are all just my opinions, obviously, and the saddest part of it is, like, the MSNBCs and the Fox Newses, they all work for the same person. So it's like, they got us fighting against each other.
That's what they want.
Right? Like, we're in this war of hypocrisy all the time, the plebes, if you will. Yeah. Right? And all they're praying to is the dollar. Yeah. Like, that's their lobby. Yeah. Their lobby is the elites. Yeah. Right? Like, that's the craziest part. Like, Tucker Carlson can come out on Fox News and rail against these elites, but he's going home to
he's one of them.
multi-million-dollar, estate or whatever.
Yeah.
And look, these are entertainers. Okay. They're politicians are professionals. They're professional lobbyists. That's what they do. That's their nature.
And they're just as versed as an actor or an actress. They speak publicly.
Absolutely. And the better you can do it, the more effective you're going to be. So I don't know. Is Trump a con man?
Probably.
But maybe that's exactly what we need right now.
Yeah.
And I'll put a pin in that right now, because everything changed for me politically. Do you know who Ray Dalio is?
No.
Okay, so Ray Dalio is one of the most successful hedge fund managers around. Matter of fact, Funbag's played at his right-hand man's 4th of July 2020 on Goat Island. It was really cool, by the way.
Yeah, I bet. Probably some good amenities there, huh?
Yeah, private fireworks shows.
Yeah.
It's like the end of the gig. It's like, well, we don't need this liquor, so you guys take whatever you want.
Yeah.
Like big vats of friggin' Patron and stuff. And we're all like,
See, here you are talking about one of your favorite places to play. See that? See how that works?
See it? Yeah, these things might lead into themselves. But so Ray Dalio, he wrote a series of books, and I got interested in it because I'm fascinated about generations. Like I'm a Gen Xer, you're a Gen Xer. Yep. Our parents were boomers, but he breaks down all of these cohorts. And he paints the picture. Well, he doesn't paint a picture. He makes the argument of why he's so successful, but more so why everything is kind of just cyclical. Everything just goes in cycles.
Right.
Since I forgot how far back he took it. I mean, like to the ancient Greeks. And
it's like basically history repeating itself, or more
the way he describes it. And I'm sorry, Ray, if you're listening to this.
I hope you are.
Because I'm going to trash this. It's not an easy read, and it's a long time ago when I read it, but it's as relevant today than it ever could be, to the point where he predicted exactly where we were going to be in this moment.
Right.
And he breaks it down into seasons where we go through humanity. We go through these seasons. So there's a springtime where it's like you just came out of a winter, and winter is always war in most instances, right? So it's like everybody's exhausted. Nobody wants to fight anymore. Nobody cares about political issues. We just want to get along, right? It's the springtime of this new cycle. And then, it's like, that's great. People are starting to feel good again. They're starting to get their confidence back. They're moving up, and we enter into a summer. And the summer is when we start having some fun, right? Think of the Roaring '20s, right? Like, or the '80s.
Right?
Right? Where it's
we just missed that.
Yes.
That decade. Well, you had 2 years on me, but like, fuck, I wish I was. Well, maybe I'd probably be dead if I was.
Well, and it's like, because we set the new world order after World War II.
Yeah.
Right? When we not that we didn't have casualties and losses, but we were the ones who were lending the rest of the world the gold, so to speak. Right? Like they were giving us their gold and we were giving them money. So this is how we got our finances tacked to the dollar, is literally from that war.
Yeah.
So by the time that war was over, America said, well, we have all the manufacturing. We hold all the gold. You guys are in rubble. You need to rebuild your infrastructure. We're going to call the shots. We're going to make the rules. And, the rest of the world, because they were, in that situation and they needed to rebuild and everything. They said, okay, well, you guys seem nice enough. We're going to go with this. It seems all right. And that, that's how we ended up, where we are, where we are the rulers of the universe, or the economy, and everything's tagged to the dollar. And it really wasn't until the 90s. I mean, everybody's, it's like, everybody's having the greatest time, and the middle class is getting screwed the entire time through the 80s, and nobody's really even saying anything about it. And then you hit the 90s, and that's really when you start hearing that, that tenor. And, there's only so long you can go just printing money until it weakens your status in the world. And, so there's a quote here, and I had to write it down because I don't know if you know who Tom Bilyeu is, man, but he's part of my logic making apparatus, and he had the greatest quote. Yeah, so he said you didn't hear people freak out until the 90s because people didn't know how this game was going to play out. It's so self-evident that now this game of competitive advantage, let them make flat screens for cheap, but you're going to have to hand back Detroit as the ghost town of violence. And it just says so much, right? So it's like we were perfectly fine letting China, make all our products and domestic, product for us on the cheap, in order for our consumer base, to get stuff cheap. But at what cost?
Right.
At the cost of all of our manufacturing moving.
And now we're at the precipice of it
overseas,
now.
Right?
Yeah.
And now we're seeing the results of that. So, summer moves into fall, right? Fall is when you are harvesting, all the work you're supposed to do in the spring and the summer. Okay, and we had a beautiful fall for a long time. Now we are in winter, and winter only ends one of three ways. And winter is basically a separation between either an internal conflict, which or a domestic conflict.
Right.
You want to look at that way,
yeah.
right? I don't think I need to illustrate that. We're all living it. The second one would be an international political order is breaking down, which we witness happening, rolling in front of our eyes as we see. And the third being when the debt reaches unsustainable levels.
Yeah.
Now, this is all in Ray's book from 8 years ago, right?
Before COVID and all that.
I think his prediction was by 2030, this is where we were going to be sitting, where we were going to be in a major influx point.
Yeah.
And we're going to see how it plays out.
Yeah, it's going to be a wild ride.
But my point of it is that I think that there was calm. I got calm from reading that book.
Yeah.
Strangely.
Yeah.
Because kind of I think that that's what religion is for people, right?
Yeah.
Where if you feel like it's already been predetermined, it takes your worry away.
Yeah.
So now it's like when I watch these politicians, I just see them as cartoon characters.
Yeah. And you live through it, and if we're heading into the winter, there will be a spring.
There will be a spring.
It's just how you navigate through that winter.
Yeah.
And that's I want to read that book. That sounds very interesting. Where so we'll stick on this topic for a little bit. Like, where do we? I was reading a lot about with China and the tariffs now going up to like 125%. So either way, our iPhones are going to be a lot more expensive.
Yes.
Whether we bring the manufacturing back to the States where we have to pay, a unionized company salaries of. I work for Sikorsky, so I know what these guys make to basically sit around all day. Did you see the fucking meme that China put out? It was fucking 10 fucking 350-pound dudes in like t-shirts too small sitting at a desk like making microchips.
I heard about this.
I'll show you afterwards.
Yeah, I heard about it. And the opinion in the context that I heard it was that they thought that it was probably a Westerner who did it.
Oh, could have been, yeah. You just don't know anymore who's
like
doing this
China.
shit. Yeah.
China is very
they're not really meme-ish people.
No, they're very down to business.
Yeah,
right. Like
yeah.
so, Trump makes the big theater. Right.
Yeah.
What does China do?
Right.
We will fight till the end.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's
right.
it.
And then the next thing is we're a 34% additional tariff. Right. So I had to do a little research on this too because again I don't follow mainstream news. But if you follow finance. It's the decoder.
Yeah.
If you follow markets and you follow finance, and let me set the record straight. I am not a financial guy by any means. When I got sick, I had to figure out how I was going to make sure my family was not left impoverished. So I started giving myself a crash course on finance. Like how are people holding money? I don't have a lot of money to work with, but I bought like one share of Apple, and let's take off from there. Let's see what we can do. And I learned a lot about markets and how it works. And that brings you down to how the actual everything works. Yeah. Everything is tied to the financial markets and protecting them and the safety of those trade lines. Yeah. Everything, every political decision, every law, every international law, it's a big game of monopoly.
Yeah.
And now it's global, right? All right. Anyway, so this is a arms race for AI. Yeah. Because AI is the future. The last thing I read was that AI, I believe, is doubling. The power of AI is doubling at like 5 to 6 months. Yeah. 5 to 6 months. It's doubling. And that's without even AI getting involved in creating their power.
Right.
So we got to assume that like that's just going to keep, multiplying and multiplying. And just so everyone understands, it's like, well, what does that mean? Think about this. Think about a piece of software that has the answers to everything. Super intelligence. Right?
Yeah.
Super intelligence. This is where we're heading. Super intelligence and robots.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to start sounding crazy.
Yeah.
But Tesla's ready to roll out their robots already. I think it was talked about like next year.
Yeah.
Into manufacturing jobs, right? And it's not like we don't have robots right now just because they don't look like humans,
right?
That are doing the work of man.
Yeah.
And this is scary for a lot of people, especially if you work in manufacturing. And so, look, I don't know if Trump's a genius or the worst thing that's ever happened to this planet, but all I know is this, is that we are in a arms race against China for AI. China owns all of the materials to make these chips, or the abundance, right? What they say, the 7 earth metals or something, right? Yep. This is how they're retaliating against us. So they're taking the long plan, right? They figure that in 10 to 15 years, when the demand for these chips that need these resources are like cranking, right? Like, they're going to be cranking out. We're never going to be able to sustain that.
Right.
We don't have those resources to sustain that. We're going to get by in the short term. But 10, 15 years now, if they're playing a long game on us, we're toast.
Right.
Okay? And you don't know how America is going to respond to this. There's going to be different people in charge, and that's the uncertainty of this whole thing. So I'm not so much like against what Trump's doing. I think he's playing a very dangerous game, but I don't know if anybody else would have the balls to do it. I mean, I can't, and I don't want to piss anybody off, especially my liberal friends, but I can't even think. I can't even think of Kamala Harris or Joe Biden being in a situation right now.
No,
I can't. And maybe it's like, to liberals, I mean, it's got to be the greatest gift ever, because first off, he can't do anything about it. He got elected, and he got elected, convincingly.
Right.
And he's willing to fall on the sword for the country, because this is political suicide to do what he's doing.
Yeah.
And everybody knows that. This is the reason why they keep raising the debt ceiling, because nobody wants to pay the bill.
Right.
So now, yes, he's not paying the bill. Okay, he's not that dumb.
Right.
He's still got to get through the next year and a half. But what he is doing is very strategic in the sense of trying to bring manufacturing back home, because somebody in that administration is smart enough to see the long game that China's playing, right? And they know we got to play catch up on that. And he's allied a lot of these partners now, because this is where everybody's just lining up. And if Ray Dalio is right, this is going to end one of two ways. It's either going to end with a new dominant world order, whether it's China or the United States remains in that position. It all depends on what's going to happen with the dollar. You have cryptocurrency. We could have a whole
another conversation
about that. Let's leave that off to the side. But that was born out of the corruption of the fiat system. Right. And if you think that the world's getting more digital, then you believe in cryptocurrency, because it's not only holding its value longer, it's making money. If you put $100,000 in your bank account, 2 years ago, it's worth 20% less. So, like we were taught growing up, I think you were, as well as I, is to save money, right?
Yeah.
Save for a rainy day. That's the worst advice in the world.
It's like, I just put some money in a money market account, just real quick, leave it there for 5 months. They offered me 1.2% return. This is Webster Bank.
Okay.
And I just laughed at him.
Yeah.
I said, what the fuck are you even talking about?
That's for a money market?
We were like, we were doing a pro, because I had my money in with him before. It was like 4.5%, which still is nothing great, but at least it's 4.5%. And he goes, well, that was like a promotion. I go, wait, I'm confused. You have to run promotions on interest rates for me to invest my money with you? I said, I'm good. So I switched to crypto and I switched to stock markets, and I could keep my money in there. It'd be safe, I guess, making its 4%, every 5 months, 6 months, whatever. But I'm got to be 90 to see anything.
Yeah.
And actually, honestly, no. Like I do, I have my 401k at work, and I do an Acorns account, which took a huge hit, but whatever. Don't look at this now. Like when you put your money into investments,
exactly,
and you lose.
But how do you know that if you're somebody working a W-2 job,
right?
You don't know that.
No.
You look at your 401k because they're
the
sky is falling, on the news, and then you look and you're down, $100,000.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you're gonna react,
right? But you're gonna react. But if you're 70, 75, yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, there's people getting hurt.
Yeah, there's sure, but that's just the nature of the markets, and they want somebody to blame. So who's the easiest person to blame?
And not for nothing. I mean, unless those 7-year-olds, and I don't know this. Maybe you can help me out with this, but so they're taking mandatory distributions, right?
Yeah.
So unless they're down to their last 10 grand,
right? What's right?
I don't even know if it's affecting them now.
No, it shouldn't be.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, it literally went down and went back up, and 3 days later.
Well, so, and this is
it depends on what you're invested in as well. But if you just have a standard 401k account,
and this is why I think
moderate.
This is why I think it's a con job, and it's a beautiful con job. But it's a con job for the people that are in the play. It's not, it doesn't work for. It doesn't really work for your plebes, right? Like, because we got 2 classes in this, Well, we really got 3 now, right? You got the upper, and then you got the upper middle class, and you basically got the middle class, right? Yeah. And and then the poor people are taking the scraps, right? And you need them all. And this is the thing where I don't think everyone really understands. It's like you need a class system.
Yeah.
There's no, and of course these are all my opinions.
There are facts on this show.
Yeah, like it's like
we only spew facts on this show. Darik.
Do you want chaos, right? Like these anarchist type. I never really understood the anarchist type, right? Like I get the whole, like I'm rock and roll, rail against the government, like very libertarian kind of stance. Most of us kind of I think fall somewhere in that category, like keep the government out of my pocket, right? Don't tell me what to do. I'm adult enough to handle the truth, like common sense stuff. And, we got ambushed, like we over the last 2 decades, we've been treated like children. We've been talked down to, we've been marginalized, and then we've been sought to, fight each other while they collect all of the cash and the gold at the top. Mm-hmm. And
like when the stock market goes down like it did, that wasn't the fucking upper class fucking selling their stocks.
It was.
Well, some of them.
Well,
but
why does crypto work? Like why does crypto make people excited?
I mean, the gains.
Right. And where do the gains come from? The volatility.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's because there's such big swings.
Yeah, I can't honestly stand it because you go to bed at night and it's like it doesn't stop, it doesn't sleep, it doesn't.
Well, that's if you're not in it.
If you're trying to make a quick buck, you're probably just going to.
If you're not in it long
right?
term, if you're not approaching it from a macro type of perspective,
right?
Then you're going to have that anxiety,
right?
And you shouldn't be doing it then,
right?
Like,
Yeah.
why is your money in there? Because apparently you can't lose it.
Right.
Right. So you shouldn't even be playing in there. Right. And that's why people like, the fiat stock system, because it's stable. Right, a little up, a little down, make a buck here, make a buck here, depending on how invested you are, right? And then if if you time the market right, or you get lucky on a stock tip, maybe you buy something low and you sell it high. But it's not what we do in this country. The fiat system, it's crazy to think this, but it's like everybody sells on the way down, and buys on the high.
That was that post you put on the other day.
That's right. That's right.
Yep.
And there's a great book.
I was laughing when I read that. I'm like, he's so right. Like, just people... everything's on sale and they don't want to go to the store.
Yeah. And look, if you believe that the correction is going to end up lower than what you're willing to stomach, then absolutely get your money out of there.
Right.
But we've been doing this a long time.
Yep.
Right? And you start to see the patterns. And this is Ray Dalio's point. It's like there's so many deliberate things. The people in power manipulate the markets. That is what they do. That is their biggest power, right? Yeah. When you think of the Fed, okay, who are these people? What do they get paid? What are their names? It's a private entity, right? Like they're the gatekeepers of the world order.
Yeah.
Who says?
Yeah.
Do we say? Yeah. Do we have a vote on this? How do we control this? How do we make sure they're not being corrupt? Why do they just keep deflating away my money? What gives you the right to just keep printing more money? Oh, because this is the only way that our country can survive. Right. Because we were irresponsible. We never had any intentions of paying our debt. And then when push comes to shove and you got one of two things. War, right? Or there's a new world order. Now, we don't know, nobody knows how that's going to break. Right? But if it's war, we're all in trouble.
Yeah.
And I caution people, like, you really want to be fighting liberals or Republicans right now?
Right.
Or do you want to be coming together, say, hey, listen, we're still all Americans, man. And there is a arms race going on for AI that is going to establish the new world order. Do we want to be a part of it, or we want to be on the other side of it? And America's still the greatest country in the world. But China has a point when they say that our people has become fat, lazy, and don't want to do hard work when their middle class is humping and working and kicking ass. And if we can't recognize this soon enough, we are going to be in a different position globally.
And how do we, without civil war, how do we as a nation get to that point? Do we need another 9/11? Like when 9/11 happened, everyone was hanging American flags at their house. I remember in 92 when Desert Storm and I had the flag on my fucking pickup truck, man. I was so patriotic, and I still am today, but like everyone was,
Yeah.
Is it just we have to wait till Trump is out of office? Or I have the biggest fear that we've gone over the edge, and I don't think we can come together as a nation divided by politics and the whatever communities, and I don't want to get too into it, but like I just feel like I don't know. I was just up in Boston, and we're staying at a hotel, and I had a hat on that just said 4547 Trump hat, right? It's actually very inconspicuous. You really have to look at it to notice it. And it was the Saturday that they had the hands-off rallies around the country. Okay. And we were at a hotel that just happened to be around the corner from it. So everybody's walking by the hotel with all their signs and stuff, right? And I'm an eye roller kind of guy. I'm like, oh, whatever, dude. Hey, do your thing. I'm not going to. It's what the country's all about. Yep. Go protest whatever you think you want to protest. And the next morning we were leaving, and we're at the Starbucks at the hotel, and these three ladies walked in, and I'm just sitting there drinking my fucking coffee, and I see one of the ladies like point to my hat to her friend. She's like, I don't even know what she said. But I already, like, you know what? It's probably my own fault for wearing something like that. But this is another problem I have with this country is you should be able to wear whatever the fuck you want. Yeah. So we happen to be leaving now at the same time at Valet. and I hold the doors open for the ladies, and we got rained out on Saturday, which is going to be one of my topics when we get to sports. We got rained out on Saturday, and we couldn't go Sunday because we had to come home. And it was shitty again. It was pouring out in the morning. So I hold the doors open for the ladies so they can get to their car. And I said, "Oh, another beautiful day in Boston, huh?" And the lady just looks at me, doesn't even respond, and just goes, and just keeps walking. And then now my girlfriend backs up her car, and she's got a Trump sticker on it. And they see, I like, you're judging me by my political views. Now I could be accused of judging people by theirs. I understand that.
Was she wearing Rachel Maddow glasses?
They all looked like Rachel Maddow. Okay.
So isn't that like virtual signaling? Like you're virtual signaling
100%.
and they're virtual signaling.
Yes.
So
yes.
if you don't want to get caught up in those type of things, why wear the hat?
Well, I like the hat. I know you never really listen to the show. I'm not the biggest Trump guy in the world. I voted for Trump 3 times in a row, but the first time I voted for him because I wanted, like you were talking earlier, I wanted somebody just to fucking make chaos in D.C. The second time when he didn't win, and whatever theory you want to throw out there, I don't really care. He fucking lost, whatever. Biden won. It was during that presidency that I saw a video about Trump that just kind of changed my whole perception of him and his fight against child sex slave trade. And I didn't really know that much about his passion for eradicating it across the globe. And I'm like, this guy's, you could be a fucking asshole, but at the end of the day, these are some of your causes. You're not an asshole. Like, you could be an asshole in person. Like, that guy's a dick, but like, is he really?
Yeah.
And everything I hear about him, like when people, like I guess Bill Maher was at the White House the other day, and he came away saying, he's just a genuinely nice guy. He's brash.
Yeah, well,
he's,
honestly, how many of us really stopped and looked and said, maybe there's something to this guy? None of us. Well, unless you were a fan, right?
Right.
What do we do? The thing for me was the whole birther thing. Like, that's how he entered the political. And then people forget this.
Right.
So it's like, right from the jump, it's like, dude,
right.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Because I always liked Trump as an entertainer.
Yeah.
You probably remember my post back in the day. I really liked The Apprentice, right? But come on, are we serious? We're serious about, this guy being president of the United States? That was the mentality, even with the Republicans.
Right.
And he just turned everybody on their ass. Mm-hmm. And everybody was angry about it. And nobody stopped to think whether or not that was the non-Trump people, and that was only 30% back then. You remember that always kind of hung around 30%.
Yeah.
Everybody else was like, you didn't want that stench on you, right?
But but where did that change? Why are there all these videos of him on The View, and him hanging out with Rosie O'Donnell, and him hanging out with all the stars, and then the minute he runs for president, there's something there, and I can't figure it out, and I research it, and I'm trying to what does he know, or what do they think he know? I don't know. I don't. Well, is it that deep, or is it just?
Or is it they're all in bed together?
They are. Come on, you're exactly right. They are.
They work for the same people.
Yeah.
Now, and this is the reason I think why Trump is popular with his base is because, yes, he's part of that. He's always going to enrich himself first. Okay,
right,
he opened up a hotel the second he became president in D.C. Right? Again, we could have a war of hypocrisy, and the Democrats and liberals have their share, especially over the last 4 years. And that's when you ask what changed. That's what changed. Is that they got that taste of power, and they ran with it just like every person does when they get that power.
Right.
And they lied to us, and they had us out there, doing their bidding for them. I'm embarrassed in some of the things. I made some friends feel really shitty about not getting a COVID shot.
Yeah.
I got to live with that now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
but you're willing to admit it, though.
I didn't change.
Yeah.
They changed.
Yeah.
And you could win me back.
But all right. Well, back to your comment about me virtual signaling by wearing that hat. My point is, I'm still a fucking gentleman holding a door for 3 women walking by. Never made a comment to him about anything. In my head, I assumed, yes, they were probably lesbian and they were at the rally yesterday with fucking signs. I can assume whatever the fuck I want in my head because that's what we're allowed to do.
Yeah.
My thoughts don't protrude out of my mouth sometimes. Sometimes they do, and I get myself in trouble. But I was raised correctly. I know you were as well. I'm a gentleman. I hold doors for women. I hold doors for kids. I hold doors for men. I, compliment people when they, when they need compliment. I just was.
You're a good guy.
I just was born that way.
Yeah.
But
you put that hat on.
Right. Well, that's my point.
And you are
like,
Hitler.
Why? Why?
Yeah. But you also wore it on purpose. You can admit that.
Well, I was in Boston. Of course I did. But it doesn't change the way I am, though. But why?
No. But it's like it's like one would say that you're the poster child of, the stereotypical Trump-looking guy, right?
Fucking bald beard. Yeah. Like, I'm drinking Dreamo. Let's go.
Now it's like, imagine if I didn't know you. And I saw you had that Trump hat on, and I'm, this is whatever 6-7 years ago.
Again, it wasn't a MAGA hat, though.
I'm not going to be rude to you because that's just not who I am.
Right.
But I'm going to have a feeling my thing, like, oh, this fucking asshole. Right? Like,
I guess.
Just like if I had my, Obama shirt on or whatever it was that ticked, Republic, and it's like, and that's why I never did that. It's like, you can't, like, I'm not going to claim to be independent and look at things as on the surface and then wear Rachel Maddow glasses and go and judge people.
But why in the world is it okay for,
It's not.
No, but for the left to
it's not.
Do all the shit they do to protest, which is fine. I don't care that they're doing it. It's their right. It's in the Constitution. But like I wear a hat that says number 47 on it, and first of all, there's a hat company called 47. Like I just I don't know. And my girlfriend was like nervous to put our Trump stickers on our car back before the election. And look what's happening now. Like Teslas are getting fucking, burned up and scraped and keyed and shit. Like
I hope you guys are buying Tesla stock out there.
Yeah, so no, absolutely.
Go all in. This is not financial advice.
Yeah. I just I get it. It just annoys me. And like I don't judge people by their political affiliations. I will, like I said, in my head, get annoyed at people that, are just out in front and are just vile about the other side, the other party, and I just don't think it's necessary. It's not solving anything.
Yeah.
This whole rally, what did it solve? Again, I don't care that they did it, but like, what did it solve? And there's players in these rallies. Mm-hmm. There's paid people in these rallies.
Yeah.
So you just can't trust on face value what's going on.
And that goes back to my point. You asked me the question, it's how do we get out of this?
Yeah.
Right? Because we're stuck in this war of hypocrisy.
Yeah.
Like we agree on that, right?
Yeah, of course.
Like, so we're just spinning wheels.
Yeah.
And that's why it's like, I have no idea what the tenor is out there. I don't watch mainstream media. Yeah. I have no idea. I just know based on what's going on
in the financial market. Yeah.
So I was listening to a guy. I'm going to quote this guy, Mo Got It. I was listening to him yesterday, and he was kind of talking about the whole AI and where we're going and how we get out of this, right? Like, so his statement was, it's going to become an arbitrage of people becoming incredibly rich, where money no longer has any meaning, and the majority will be impoverished because there will be no jobs. We will literally have to figure out a way to keep people motivated so they're just not going around killing people and blowing shit up. Right. So these are the problems.
There's a lot of Hollywood movies that describe these exact situations.
Right. How, this is not 30 years from now. This is not conspiracy theory, people.
Right.
Okay?
This is coming fast.
Go on your phone right now and talk into an AI. All right? I mean, it's here.
Yeah.
And it's only going to be exponential. Every 5 to 6 months, it's doubling in power. Think about that. Mm-hmm. The chips that we're making, these quantum chips, they're things of science fiction. Our world, as we know it, is going to change. It's going to become unrecognizable in the next 10 years. I'm trying to prepare my kids for this.
Right.
So,
I mean, I always say in a just kind of a gloss over what the government wants is they just don't want. I mean, I think COVID was what kind of set all the wheels in motion. Was they don't want people to go to work. They want everyone.
Well, they need to keep
to
the world
rely
order.
on the government.
They need to keep the world order.
Right. They need to do that. They need everyone buy from Amazon, Uber Eat, don't go out, work from home. Don't. It's already happened. We've seen it in real time. And yes, we busted out of that cage because they couldn't hold us down much longer, but we're just going to go right back to it. I was watching the thing because I work in a company that has a union. And there was a video about, so I work for Lockheed Martin, the parent company, obviously, of Sikorsky. And Lockheed makes, they make the fucking missiles and all the fucking high-tech weaponry and the fighter jets. And there was a Chinese assembly plant for these like big fucking missiles, like this. And they're just fucking pumping them out on a machine, on a fucking, conveyor belts and all this stuff. There's no humans on the line. And then they go to Lockheed Martin's plant that's all union employees, and they got the thing on a stand, and they're fucking hand painting the shit. And, it's stuff I see every day with the helicopters. And, we're producing probably 1 to their 50. And this is arming our country for war.
Yeah.
Granted, Lockheed will sell to fucking anybody, but, it's just that's the mentality of China to the United States, which goes back to the fat people making chips. Yeah. It's like unions, are they really good for, yes, they employ people, but if at the end of the day, they don't really want people working, then we're way behind China.
Right.
Like they got stockpiles of shit.
Yes.
We have a pretty good stockpile, but nothing like what they got.
Well, their strength and power, assuming because they're just gonna do what we do, right? They're gonna start printing money, right? Because their economy is in the toilet too.
Yeah.
So they're just gonna keep pumping money, and this is why crypto is going to go through the roof, right? Every time that a government prints money, crypto goes up. You heard that here. So, you think Bitcoin's too expensive right now at 83,000 or whatever it is? Wait until it's 100 or 200,000 or 300,000 or $1 million, okay? Yeah. Because right now there's only 3% of the global money in Bitcoin, and it's that billions of dollars are circulating. So it's 97% early right now.
Yeah.
So you still have a chance to get in. I'm not.
Well, you can also
for Bitcoin. I'm just saying.
You can buy into a Bitcoin. You don't have to buy a whole one.
Right. You don't buy Bitcoin. And
you
buy a portion,
a piece of it. And you're just going to ride the percentage increases.
Yeah. Or get some gold and stock it away.
Yeah.
But how we get out of this is our 9/11 is happening right now, and people, and like I said, I don't know what's going on with the news. I don't know if liberals and Trumpers are fighting the way they always did.
They are.
Oh, is it at a heightened level?
It's worse now.
Oh, okay.
It's worse in the last 4 years, or his first term.
Okay.
Way worse.
I don't see things.
No, that's a great lens to not look through.
Not to mention, it's like I'm putting my energy into trying to save my life.
Right.
So I don't have time for that.
Don't fucking waste your time on this other shit. That's for sure.
But our way out of this is recognizing the fact that we are in an arms race with China. And look, you can sit there and you keep fighting your Trump neighbor or your liberal neighbor, and we lose this war. Or you can say, I'm a freaking American first, and you get behind this president, whether he's going to be right or wrong. We don't know, but we have to let it play out, and we have to hope that he's right.
But the problem is the left wants him to fail.
Of course.
And that is the worst way to go into this. I did not want Joe Biden to fail. Okay. You can go and listen to my last 4 years of my podcast.
But many people on the Trump side did.
Of course they did. Right? And they're idiots.
Yeah. But here's the thing. I say let's just stop. Just that doesn't matter anymore.
Right.
Let's stop with the hypocrisy war.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
Right. You can impeach him fucking 5 more times if you want. You can do this, that.
It doesn't matter.
Just jump on, I don't know. I feel I don't watch mainstream media a lot, but I do watch it, and I usually watch it after like a speech or something, and I love playing the game of, all right, I'll watch a speech on Fox, and when the speech is over, I'll go right to MSNBC and see how they just fucking crush it. Mm-hmm. Then I flip back to Fox, and they're all like, Trump is the best. Yeah. And it's just hilarious. It's just like it amuses me.
It's nonsense.
It's comedy.
It's all nonsense.
It's theater. It's just.
And everybody riled up right now, wanting to freaking spit on their neighbor for stop it. Just stop. Right. You're being played.
Right.
You're all being played.
Yep.
We got to get together. I mean,
it has to happen.
It has to happen. Like, my Trump friends, my liberal friends, like, cut the nonsense out, man. We're in a war right now, and it could either end in bloodshed or it can end in utopia. You know, but let's still let be America be on top.
Why do these protesters all look the same?
I knew there was gonna be something in there. You're like, this show is way too serious. I gotta mix this up.
We got a little levity in this. Come on now.
Dude, my
They
favorite
all Rachel Maddow looking people.
Oh, my favorite bits are like the the Daily Show where they go into the rallies and And the thing is, it's like you could go into any of these rallies and you could cherry pick these people and they're all just, because they're there for a feeling.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't politics a feeling?
Yeah.
Right?
Sure is.
And I think that's why Trump is so good at it, because he's good at creating feelings.
Yep.
Right? And not
whether
the kind
they're
of
good
feelings,
or bad theory.
right?
Yeah,
and there's not the feelings that liberals are used to, right?
And he loves needling the left. He loves it.
Yeah. And then he got, Elon in on the game, trolling with that. I mean, like, come on, like some of this stuff is just
Elon was the poster child of the liberals, just
well, I mean, think about all the people that were lifelong liberals, and that voted for Trump this time around.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not one of them.
Right.
So the party's changed.
Yeah.
I
I think they've lost their way, and I really thought by Trump winning, and I say this all the time, I want the Democrats to bring someone to the table that is young, articulate, and it just isn't these radical ideas. Like, they're talking about AOC in 28.
No.
Like, oh my God, what are you thinking?
I think Gavin Newsom's gonna be the guy.
And he's cringy too. Like, as much as Donald Trump's cringy, he's cringy too. Like, I don't.
But you know
I
what?
want somebody like just out of the blue.
But you know what? He's not tone deaf. Right?
Is he? Is he not?
Well, he's going on right wing podcasts. He's listening to the other side.
Yeah, but he's doing that he's got purpose behind that.
Well, that's a good thing, isn't
it? Yeah, but it's.
I mean, listening to the other side, isn't that what that's going to get us out of this?
Maybe. I mean, I'm just not hitching my wagon to him.
Well, I'm not hitching my wagon to anybody,
right.
But
I mean, as the next Democrat,
I think
they should have put him up instead of Kamala. They're just throwing anybody up when they got Joe out of there.
I think that's part of the problem, that like we're so caught up in the cult of personality of it all, and we're missing the big picture.
Yeah.
Like, we're Americans, like, we're supposed to be together.
And no one ever admits they're wrong.
You can't be the greatest country in the world. It's just by saying it.
And it's okay to fail. It's okay to be wrong. It's okay to change your opinion on something, and that's what we lack right now. No one's ever wrong in the political landscape. No one's ever wrong. No one can ever. I mean, Trump could, give everyone $1 million and the libs would still be pissed. And vice versa. The same thing when Biden was, in, and it's just, I don't know. Maybe we could, maybe on this show we could like get people back together. But like you go to shows, right? Or you play in the shows. You don't know your crowd, but you know what? Everyone's there, all for one reason, to see you guys play, drink some booze, and have a fucking great night. There's no politics at the shows.
Nope.
Why? That's what we need.
And it doesn't belong there.
And it doesn't
Randy Butler, I love you.
Or who's the... what's the... Green Day?
Oh, did they?
Oh yeah, they changed the lyrics of their songs just to fucking crush Trump. And what's the other one I saw? Oh, the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones.
Okay.
Some guy had a Trump shirt and they kicked him out of the show, and like I didn't even know they were like fucking that. I don't know, like whatever. Yeah. But anyway,
I just think if we get to the point where it's like we're doing that, like we're being rude to people because of the hat they're wearing, or we're kicking people out because of the shirt they're wearing, or we're censoring people online because you don't like the things they're saying. I think we're already gone.
Yeah,
and that's what's changed.
Yeah,
I think that like those of us who are more moderate independents saw the Democrat trying the Democrats in this cycle, pulling people to a place they didn't want to go.
Yeah.
And we're left without a home.
Yeah.
So
We'll see where it goes. I mean, I think we're still at the phase where it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Let's just hope we don't get war.
No, we don't want. We never want war.
And I don't know about you, but there was really only one candidate that was out there talking about not getting into a war, and that was Trump.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like
he doesn't want it.
As much as I hate to give the guy some credit,
Yeah.
but like, you know what, like nobody was willing to give him any credit in the first term.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there was credit to be given. I found a couple things.
Yeah.
You know, I like
Yeah.
what he did with the prison system, and what else? But you know what, man? I mean,
wants you to put bleach in your veins.
The guy was spent most of the time defending himself and whatever. And look, you could have a feeling about that. I don't care anymore. I just care about where we are right now. And right now, we all need to get together. We have to win this AI war.
Yeah.
We have to win this trade war. We need to keep our currency, the world currency. Mm-hmm. And we're not going to do that if we're fighting amongst each other. So think about what's more important.
Right. And think about what's more important for your kids and your kids' kids.
Or keeping money in your pocket and enjoying the things that you're used to as an American.
All right, so let me segue into winners and losers. We got Trump's the big winner and Biden was the big loser, the Democrats this time around. So let's talk about the Jets and the Mets, the Red Sox and the
winners
Patriots.
and losers, huh? That was a nice setup, pal.
Sure, you're right into that one.
God, what do you want to talk about?
First, let's go Jets. A quick Jets minute. I don't really go past 4 when I read the mock drafts because the Pats are picking 4. But I think it's a lineman they're looking at. But what are the Jets doing with the 7 pick? I think they have.
Jeremy, I'm gonna be embarrassed to tell you this.
You don't know.
I shut the Jets off.
Come on.
In September.
Come on.
Yep.
The whole point of being a Jet fan is that just you got to live the miserable life of being a Jet fan.
And I lived it.
Yeah,
I lived it.
A long time.
I lived it a long time. Actually, I think I made it to October.
Yeah.
Or that whole Aaron Rodgers
well, he's gone now.
It's just it left a scar, man.
Yeah.
And I tuned out. And I'm part of this group text with Randy and all our Jet friends, and so I'll look every once in a while and see what they say. But I am just like, I'm all baseball right now.
All right, so you were all right. Well, then, all right, the Jets.
I just want to be honest.
Yeah, no.
So what are they looking for? An O-lineman?
Well, most of the mocks that I've gone past for is a lineman, unless Shedeur Sanders falls to 7, which he's probably going to fall past the Jets. But
I heard something about them trading up to get or trading down.
Yeah,
like going
like backwards.
Backwards, like 13, 14.
Yeah,
that was the one thing.
We gained some extra picks. Yeah, this is not one of the deepest drafts in like the last few years, outside of the top 3 players. Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter from Penn State, and maybe Cam Ward, the quarterback. Other than that, it's kind of a mishmash of shit.
Yeah.
They say there's some solid running back, wide receivers in the middle rounds that could make an impact, but nothing to get fired up about. This is not the year you want really a high pick if you're a really bad team.
Well, I'm not ready to forgive him yet. So.
No, yeah. Well, you got Justin Fields to look forward to in the.
That's right. I did hear about that one, and I like some of the coaching things. But I feel like as long as Woody's owning that team, it's the same feeling I had about the Mets with the Wilpons.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like. But I can't quit him.
All right. So, how excited were you when they signed Soto?
Excited. Expected.
Yeah?
I don't know why. I just I would have been more reactive if they didn't get him.
So one of my best friends, we just text. I probably have 7 missed texts right on my phone right now about Red Sox, and there was a report by some guy on Twitter that said it's a done deal. The Red Sox are signing Soto. It was was it Thanksgiving weekend, I think? And somewhere around there, and it should be announced by Monday. And this dude just stuck to his guns, and we're like, "Fuck it." Now my buddy's like, I don't want him. He's too expensive. We got other needs, which he's right. But I'm the guy that I don't give a fuck what you pay these guys. Just get him on the fucking team. And we haven't spent money in years. Obviously, he didn't go, and this guy just got roasted online. I didn't even know who he was, but even the beat reporters were like re-quoting him on Twitter.
Really?
Yeah. And then now I focused on, all right, we're not getting him. Just don't go to the Yankees. I just don't want him to go to the Yankees.
I think they were saying that about Bregman.
Yeah.
How's he doing, by the way?
All right. They're off to a weird start. The weather's been, it's funny. Like Cora made a great quote last night. Good, right?
Yeah. Do you have another one?
I do. Yeah. I'll get you one second.
Thank you.
Cora made a great quote because they just they just lost 3 in a row to Toronto. The weather's been crap, whatever. And Cora goes, yeah, it's funny how everyone complains about the weather in April, but they never complain about the weather in October.
Right. But quick fact for you: the average temperature in October is like 53, and
Right now it's like fucking 40. I know. It's what it is. It's like I always say this. It's fucking. We don't take our sweatshirts off in like in the spring until it's like fucking 80. It seems like But like in the fall, it's like, oh yeah, it's like nice crisp out. It's beautiful because we've been in the summer all year, and it's like, oh, this is nice.
It is, right? It's mentality.
It's just all mentality. It's the same fucking temperature,
right? For the most part, yeah.
So all right, I'll grab you water, but talk about your Soto. The day the Soto signed.
Yeah, I loved it, man. I might have to wait for you to come back for this one. So those who know me know that my wife is a huge Yankees fan, and I went all in on my firstborn with my teams, and he's not into sports, so she got the secondborn, who is, his dreams of becoming a Major League Baseball player. Let's just put it that way. So I lost out on this miserably, and it affects me deeply. And I remind her every day.
Oh, man.
So anyways, it was more about them when there's sour grapes at home, and my 13-year-old, he makes comments every chance he gets, and I try to stay away from him. He's like, oh, how was that strikeout the other day? Oh, good thing we paid all that money for him.
Oh, Jesus.
So we get a lot of that stuff. But I was psyched. Believe it or not, man, I it's like I always heard about Soto being this, incredible player, but I didn't watch him much, Like saw him when he played Washington and Padres, and but he's an incredible hitter.
Oh, he's fucking
incredible. It's
Can you fathom the money they're just handing out these guys? It's just like,
but that's another thing. That's just so stupid. Because it's pretend.
Right.
It's all pretend money.
Yeah.
It's just all this circulating trillions of dollars all over the place, man. You just push it all around, right? It just gets pushed around. So, it's like, and we're gonna pay those prices regardless.
Yeah.
So it's not our money.
No, but right? It's.
And what's the fans doing now, right? Like 20 years ago, you were probably going to 10, 15 games.
Yeah.
Right? Now with the prices.
I go to.
You go once, twice.
Actually pay, being in the business I'm in, I get a little lucky. I'll get tickets from a distributor or something like that. So I get to I was supposed to go Saturday, but obviously got rained out, and I have tickets for September against the Yankees, I think.
I haven't paid for baseball tickets in years.
Yeah.
I might actually now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna actually buy my own, buy some tickets this year because they put a good product on the field.
Yeah. Well, that always changes.
And I'll buy a hot dog.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So Fenway, Citi Field. Now, my ex-girlfriend, Kara, who used to work at Seven Seas, diehard Mets fan. Obviously, I'm diehard Red Sox, which is an easy kind of relationship because it's not Yankees, Red Sox. It's like two different leagues.
I didn't know you were from Massachusetts.
Yeah, I was born there, yeah.
When did you move here?
I moved to Madison, Connecticut when I was in 8th grade.
Oh, okay.
So I went to Han High.
So, yeah, you pretty much cut your teeth there.
Yeah. And then I went to University of New Haven.
Okay.
And I spent 1 year in Florida, but basically been in the West Haven, Milford area, since I started Stonebridge in 2000. So 25 years of Stonebridge. Fucking long time. Where does it all go?
It's crazy, right?
You
think about the people that are still doing this, right? Me, you,
fucking Campy. It's fucking crazy.
Randy. What's wrong?
But wouldn't change it for the world, man.
It's a young man's game, isn't it?
Yeah. So I don't know, where was I going with this? One of those
Citi Field or Fenway.
So I love Citi Field because I dated her pre-Citi Field, so we'd obviously go to Shea, and then we saw the construction in the off season and the early games when Shea was still there, and then they transferred over. And I don't love the area, but I love the field just has that like minor league complex / just like the amenities are good. I think
It's a ballpark.
It's really nice. And it just dawned on me Saturday of how much I really don't like Fenway. It's very pleasing to the eyes when you're there. It's iconic, the Green Monster, all that stuff. But the underbelly reminds me of the old Yankee Stadium. It's just fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
And they just don't put any money into it. They probably never will because their ownership sucks.
And they don't have to, right?
They don't have to.
They're
They're going to sell
the tickets
out.
anyways.
They got a good product. They're going to sell out.
Yeah.
And, so we sat in this rain delay. And we, like everyone's got a phone. Everyone sees the fucking radar. I knew they weren't playing, but I knew I couldn't go the next day. So my couple met us out there. I had the 4 free tickets. So I went and we went in. We're like, screw it. Had a couple beers. And it's cold. It's fucking 42 degrees and raining. And I have Nesson app on my phone, so I'm kind of watching it. Will Middlebrooks is the studio guy, he's an alumni of this show, by the way. And he's just saying, oh, well, they really need to get this game in because they're playing St. Louis, and St. Louis doesn't come back because it's a interleague game, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, why don't they just play a doubleheader tomorrow? I don't really care. I just want to stand here. So we left at like 6. They called the game at like 6:40. Now it was a 4:05 first pitch. So they got everyone to park. I'm sure they do this at Citi Field too. Like you can, like, with our advancements in technology of weather, you should be able to cancel this game at 7 in the morning before anyone starts traveling.
Right.
Like, I haven't already be up there, but like, it's just so annoying.
We built a nuclear bomb. We figured out how to make artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
But we can't get the fucking weather right.
No. And we can't we're all sitting there like, it's literally going to rain till tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. And what the amazing thing is, it stopped at 10 a.m. Right when I was letting those 3 Rachel Maddows out and being nice to them, that's when it stopped raining. It was 10 in the morning. We were heading home.
You are really trying to turn my liberal friends against me, aren't you?
Oh, come on. Your liberal friends watch her.
Rachel
Maddow?
I would think so, no?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. She's just... Like, there's conservative hosts I can't stand watching. It's just like that. I'm good. Like Tucker. People love Tucker. He's just so snooty to me. Like, I don't know. It's like,
I heard his podcast is good. I just can't,
Yeah.
I can't bring myself to it from the Fox days.
and like Joe Rogan, I don't even know if he's really a conservative.
He's not good.
No, but all leading up to the Trump presidency and election, that's all he had on was conservative guests mostly.
Well, first off, he's a comedian. So it's
Right.
like when I started hearing like in liberal circles like when they turned on Joe Rogan, I was like,
Yeah.
come on, it's like and he makes those points.
Yeah.
It's like
I love the guests he
The dude
gets.
sits down, he has a conversation for
Right.
3 hours,
Right.
right? Like that's what he does.
Yeah.
Share some of his opinions for the most part though. You don't really take much of a stance. I think the Trump thing is my feeling on it.
Yeah.
I think those Trump interviews,
Yeah,
the Elon interview, he got that shot him to the moon.
Mm-hmm.
And I am sorry. Could you imagine Donald Trump sitting across from you right now?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Doing a 3-hour interview
Right.
at one of the most pivotal times in an election.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't think that you're going to get a little ego?
Oh, yeah. And he already had a pretty big one, so,
So, I don't know.
and they actually, say that his podcast appearances really, all of them he did really skyrocketed him.
I think that's
and-
what won the election for
Yeah,
him, honestly.
and he obviously thanked his son Barron for setting all that up, saying this is the future. This is what you got to do.
Yeah.
And so now we'll see in 3.5 years.
Hey, how do we go from Citi Field back to Trump?
You did.
Oh, I did?
I
No,
think
you
so.
did.
No, I didn't.
All right, we got to rewind.
No, I talked about when the rain stopped, and I was letting the ladies out.
Oh,
The Rachel Maddow.
see, you're an instigator. You're like, I got my Trump hat. I'm
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
piss off these Maddows.
Yes.
You know what you did.
No, I didn't. Why can't I just wear a hat? Why can't I just wear a hat?
Okay,
man?
Mr. Mac.
Oh, whoa. I love Mac, but we all know. So you've been to Fenway?
Say again?
You've been to Fenway?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay,
Yes.
Yeah.
I've been a couple times.
Yeah.
Saw the Mets there. Play them. But you're right. Well,
Yeah.
it's disgusting.
It is. It really is.
Lansdowne Street is awesome.
Yeah. Oh no. So I wouldn't trade outside of Fenway for either New York team or anywhere I've ever really been to a ballpark. I've never been to Wrigley, but I heard that's pretty cool too. But like, it's just the ambiance and the bars, and it's just a fucking great. It's just a great.
Oh
scene.
yeah, it's a great city. So one of my best friends is a Sox fan.
Yeah.
And so we had gone up there to see the Mets and the Red Sox play. This was years ago, and it was I remember it was Garcia Parra's birthday. And he hit 2 home runs that day. And we were sitting, we left early because it was hot as hell. It was like 95 degrees. And we're just like, we're like both like, oh, let's go. And right as we were walking out, he hit the second one. And we see the ball come over, into the parking lot. And we almost got it.
Really?
Got it.
Oh, man.
It's so cool.
That is cool. Anoma.
Oh, man. Boston, I got Boston stories for days, man.
Yeah.
Some of them I can't tell, but...
Yeah.
Man,
My worst
we've had our van stolen off the street.
Oh, Jesus
Lansdowne
Christ.
Street, too.
Yeah. Where were you playing up there?
We were playing at either the Harp or Ned Devine's at that time.
Oh, that's up in the north end.
Yeah, so Ned Devine's was Faneuil Hall.
Faneuil Hall, yeah.
Right.
And Harp is over by the TD Garden.
Harp is across the street from the Garden.
Nice.
And then we did a club there called Copperfields.
Okay.
Any bells?
Yeah, it rings a bell. Yeah.
Greenbrier.
Nah, that one doesn't.
And then
You ever play like House
I think
of
there was a
Blues
bar
on
called
Lansdowne?
Lansdowne that we played.
There is.
Right,
It's
right
an
on
Irish,
Lansdowne.
Yeah, there is. It's an Irish bar, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And then we more recently we did a wedding at what's the big place right there? Is there a Hard Rock or something?
There's on Lansdowne?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's the House of Blues.
House of Blues.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
So someone got married there,
Yeah.
and we did that. Was pretty cool.
Aerosmith used to own like most of the clubs on that strip.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. I had a buddy, one of my friends from college, one of his best friends, was like running all those clubs. It was like it's like a conglomerate, like some business owned like 5 of the clubs down there, and it happened to be tied in with Aerosmith. Now the kid's like owns half of Vegas. He won't talk to me. He's way too big. I'll like if I know I'm going to Vegas, I'll like send him a message, and I never hear from him. I'm like, I don't really care.
Does he think you're asking like, gonna hit him up for money or something?
No, I want a free room and fucking like a steak dinner or something. I don't want money. I'd never ask for that. Not from those guys. All right, so I have my worst ever Citi Field experience was the All-Star game. So I get tickets last minute from Star Distributors too, and Campy couldn't go, so he's like, take care because she's a big Mets fan. So we drive down. It is a 95-degree night, no wind, and our seats weren't good. They were way up in the the top section. And she just started, we were drinking, and she just started to get, it's probably why we broke up. We didn't break up too much long after this, but she was just like, I can't deal with it. So it's like the 7th inning, whatever. She's like, I was just fucking leave. I'm like, oh, fuck. All right, fuck. So we leave. We just hear the whole fucking place erupt. It was Mariano Rivera's last All-Star game.
No, dude.
We missed the fucking entrance.
What is wrong with you?
I know. Dude, I was so mad. Campy was pissed because Campy's like, I would have fucking stayed for that, you idiot. I'm like, fuck you. I'm a Red Sox fan. I'm like, I can't believe I missed that. And I can't believe I actually told the story that I did. I should have just lied.
Yeah,
what a moment.
Yeah, that's one of those ones you keep to yourself.
But yeah, that was, I was like, you got to be kidding me. Remember when you were there? Did you go to any of that All-Star stuff when they had it at Citi Field? Because they had the home run derby the night before. And
that's above my pay grade. But I was able to...
I've seen you guys play Jets games before.
Yeah, but we get paid for that.
I still have a picture of... Oh, man, I should have texted Emily. Little Emily has a picture of all of us on stage with you guys.
Oh, really?
Before a Jet game. You guys were like playing...
it was the Jets-Patriots game.
Yes,
we were in the Bud Light Plaza.
Bud Light, yes, that's what it was.
Yeah.
And she
Do you want to hear a great story about that?
Yeah.
Right? So me and Chris drive up for that gig, and we had to be there like insanely early.
Yeah. It was a 1 o'clock game, so you got
right. And so it's like there's no cars in the parking lot when we get there, and it's like we park up nice and close and the other thing, right? So it's like we go through the thing and do the gig, and it was awesome because we got to go up in the press boxes and watch the game.
Oh, nice.
As well,
Yeah.
And so we it's time to go home, and we come out, and Chris is like, dude, I don't know where the car is. Because now the parking lot's completely filled.
Yeah.
And he's just like with the remote.
Trying to find it.
Dude, I think it took us like an hour and a half. Like we had to wait for most of the cars to move out, and we finally found our freaking car. Dude. I was like, oh my God. I've never been so tired in my life. I wanted to be home.
Don't you hate that? You just want to get home, and you still got a fucking 3-hour ride in traffic to get there.
Yeah.
I'm
not a big ass. I don't go to football games, man. I'd rather watch them on my
Well, that's the thing
couch.
now. It's like, with the size of TVs and the HD and the 4K and all this shit, it's like, fuck. I mean,
listen,
beers on my couch and watch the game.
If you get a bunch of buddies together, like if you have your crew, hell yeah, I'll go for the tailgate, and that's a good time. But it's like
I had season tickets to the Patriots for a long time, and I would just like, it was cool in September and October and maybe the beginning of November, but then it's just like, fuck this. I don't want to stand outside in the cold all day,
right.
Like,
no thanks.
I had a streak of like 21 straight victories. It was like Brady from like 03 to like 08 or something. Like I never saw a loss. It was like nuts. I mean, I didn't go to every game. I sold some tickets, but like every game I went to in that 5-year span, they won. It was just fucking insane.
So you're a Patriots fan as well?
Oh yeah, all Boston.
No, so, all right. So here's my question to you as a Patriots fan, all right? Because I hate you as well.
I feel the love right here.
Do you care? Like, do you care more about hating the other person's team than liking your own?
As far as football, no. Baseball, yes.
Okay. Because
I would rather watch the Yankees lose than the Red Sox win.
All right. So this
I've always been that way, even after we started winning championships.
This is my story about my first time going to Foxborough Stadium.
Yeah.
Right? So this is when we were sponsored by Coors.
Yeah.
So and it was Coors Stadium, right? Like I think that's where they had to give us the tickets.
Yeah.
So I go up there for the first time, and this is during that, I don't remember the year. You would probably know it better than me, but this is when the Yankees and the Red Sox were battling.
Yeah. Like 03, 04, somewhere in there.
I think it was the year of the big collapse. Remember when the
Yeah.
Yankees came
04.
out? And I'm pretty sure it was that year.
Because the Patriots won the Super Bowl that year, too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was that year. So I'm up there, and I'm like, okay, I got my Curtis Martin jersey on, but I'm all Red Sox at this point because the Yankee bullshit.
Right.
And I'm not a Yankee hater, but it was like,
But if you're a Mets fan, you're not rooting for him.
I was like, I started getting into it. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna put a Boston Red Sox Scully on, and maybe I can get some love. Maybe they'll leave me alone, dude. From the second that I pulled into the freaking stadium,
they're gonna hammer you.
They were just on me.
Yeah.
And my wife, she's laughing her ass off. She's got her Brewski jersey
See,
on.
now hold on a second. I don't want to interrupt you, but you're wearing a Jets jersey at Foxborough is like me wearing a Trump hat in Boston. You were looking for a response.
I don't know, because you weren't going to a competition, were you? I was going to a competition between two teams.
Well, I was going to a Red Sox game, but I got rained out.
No, but it wasn't a rally. It wasn't like a Trump versus Rachel Maddow rally.
No,
right?
but
I'm not going to concede that one. Too.
Okay.
But nice try. That was good. So we get in the stadium, and they're harassing me, and then we get to our seats, and this guy behind me, he starts and was like, "Oh, where did Curtis Martin go to college?" Yeah. I'm like, Pitt. And then there's like, so he's just harassing me the whole time. And, and she's having fun. My wife's having fun sitting next to me. Right? I'm like, okay, laugh it up. And look, I don't retaliate, like you said.
Yeah.
I went into your house.
Yeah.
I'm wearing this, but I do have my Red Sox hat on.
Yeah.
Right? So if you had a Trump hat on and Rachel Maddow glasses, then maybe you would have a
I kind of do, actually. I don't know.
So anyways, this is the punchline of this story. Is she's giggling over there, having a great time. This guy's making fun of me, because now we're warring because I'm rooting for the Red Sox, and of course she's a diehard Yankee, and she's one of those people. She's one of those Yankee fans. I love you, baby,
Come on,
but
Michelle.
you are. She gets up, she goes, "You want a beer?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you can give me a beer." She gets up and she has a Brewski jersey on, but underneath it is a Yankee hoodie. and you could see the NY through it.
Shit.
These guys go, whoa! And they lose their shit. And she's just like, ah! And she runs away. It was so. It's like that was one of those moments like where you see that asshole that speeds by and cuts you off on the highway, and then you see the cop pull him over. That was that moment for me.
Oh man, you just brought up Mr. Mac's name. He refuses to go to Foxborough because he's a big Steeler fan. And he's like, they're the biggest assholes in the world up there. I'm like, dude, Jeff, you probably show up to the game with a fucking megaphone.
Wait, what's his name?
Jeff.
I'm like,
Mr. Mac, Jeffrey McPadden.
I love Mac.
Yeah.
And I'm like, for the longest time,
I
can't even think of his first name because I'm so used to calling him Mr. Mac.
I didn't know Campy was Michael until like 4 years of working with him.
Really?
Yeah.
He's Michael?
Michael Campanelli.
Oh.
We just all called him Campy. And one day somebody came in and says, is Michael here? I'm like, who the fuck's Michael? They're like, the tall guy you work with. I'm like, I don't know Michael. They're like, Campanelli, Campy. I'm like, wait, his name's Michael?
That's hilarious.
No fucking idea.
I would have never known that.
Yeah, right?
Well, if you didn't know that.
Yeah, right. Oh, man. All right, well, let's finish up on, you got to get some kids action, huh? We're getting some 540. Yeah.
Baseball 24/7. It's cancer and baseball for me these days.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish it was more baseball.
Yeah, it's gonna be more baseball.
Good.
And then music.
Yeah,
you know we are.
Oh yeah,
we didn't even mention it.
Can we do that?
Yeah,
can we promote the show?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. First of all, I will be there. It is April 24th, a Friday.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, right. I'll just double check it, but I think it. Maybe it'll be the 25th because today's the 10th.
I don't know. I can't.
25th.
I can't think about it. It gives me anxiety.
Yep. 25th. Anthony D's, right in Milford. You are probably one of the bands I would definitely. I don't go there often, but I would go there to see you. I will be there.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you.
I can't wait. So this is your first show since the early January.
Yeah. So it's. We'll see.
It's like the return of the Jedi. Baby.
Yeah,
it's coming back.
Hopefully, I have a voice, but luckily I have guys next to me that are professionals and great. And
yeah.
So blessed to have the talent around me.
Yeah,
so.
you guys rock, man. Like always. And
so if I am horrible or if we're horrible, you gotta cut us this one.
Oh no. All good. All right, you ready for your first douche of the week experience?
Let's do it. I've been looking forward to this douche of the week.
Last week or 2 weeks ago.
Please tell me it's me.
No, never.
Damn it.
Last week was or 2 weeks ago was one of the harshest ones I've done, and it was the lady that drowned her own dog in an airport. It's like beyond douche. This one, I always wait till last minute to find it because like I can find one on like fucking Sunday, and then so much shit happens in this world. I got to change it, so I'll just do it the night before. And there wasn't much out there, Derek. I'm gonna tell you, people were pretty cool yesterday. There wasn't a lot of bad shit going on.
Jeez.
Until I found this guy. His name is Carlos Garcia. He's a wanted man right now. I don't even know how to explain this. He was on a subway in New York. You know how good that fucking subway system is. And there was a dead man next to him that had been dead for a couple hours. And he was just riding the subway with him. And when there
sitting
up? No, he was lying down. And this guy was sitting next to him. And he was... He was sexually abusing the corpse.
Come on.
Necrophilia.
Come on. You're making this up.
I am not. This was on NBC News in New York, Channel 4.
Come on.
Swear to God. So when the subway would stop, he would stop. And like people would walk by, and then the subway took off.
What is he doing? Like
he was like fucking
jerking him off,
jerking the dead guy off. He was riding him. He was just fucking. Like fucking what the fuck?
Dude, I need another queasy.
What do you got over there?
These are queasy things. Keep me from throwing up.
Oh, okay.
You want one?
Oh, God, no. Yeah, so he'd been dead for hours. Now, they didn't identify the guy that was dead. But this guy's name's Carlos Garcia. You can go on like probably Channel 4 News New York and see the guy. They don't show anything obviously the shit, but they have a camera picture of him. He's wearing a hoodie and shit, whatever. What the fuck is wrong with people?
What do you do with this? Like, how do you end this segment? Can we just be like, "Fuck you, Carlos," and just
Yeah, and don't forget Darik and Funbags 2 Fridays. See y'all there. Don't make my douche of the week list. See, my douche of the week is all over the place. It could be a local person I've had. It was just fucking Frenchie, downtown boy. He was my douche of the week. Trying to hammer Stonebridge for bands. I don't know if you've heard that story.
How hard up you have to be where you ride a subway and get pleasure from jerking
Just
dead
just
body
the
off.
just,
Let's just get into the psychology.
well, I
of that for a
mean,
second.
I guess not to sound funny, but he's stiff, right?
We got to end on that. Yeah, that was good.
Darik, thank you so much for coming on the show. I love you, brother. I can't wait to see you in a couple of weeks live. I didn't really find this out till yesterday that you were playing. My buddy's like, I was telling him you were on the show, and he's like, and he loves Anthony D's. So I'll be over there drinking. Make sure you bring cash, everyone. It's cash only over there.
Yes, it's a cash only.
Cash only bar. So bring at least a couple $100, and you can spray the money on
She's got to buy her Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's right. Tara will be there, I'm sure, and Abby should be bartending.
Yeah, they're great,
hopefully.
man.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if they're the competition, so to speak.
No. Hey, I'm always in Milford, more the merrier. I hated to see Eli's go. That was awful. I don't want to see anyone else close down. No, I mean, everyone's their own entity. Everyone makes good. Everyone does well.
Yeah.
For the size or scope of their place. It's just it's great to see.
That's the message
And
today.
keep fighting that fight, brother. I'm there for you. Anything I could do to help. I know it sounds cliche, but seriously, anything I could do to help.
I appreciate that.
All right, brother.
I just want to say thank you to you for
of
having
course.
me on the show to bore the shit out of your audience.
No,
They probably tuned out after
They're all
the first
fucking fearful now. They're fucking selling stocks. They're buying crypto. They're looking into China.
they like came back, tuned into the last 10 minutes when we were talking about
ChatGPT, what's going on? I'm fucking scared. People are fucking dead people in the fucking subway.
But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to getting back
Good.
on stage.
Yeah.
And I mean, I just want to say thank you to all the people that donated to my GoFundMe. It was incredibly being out of work for 3 months. I was telling Jeremy that my entire social life has been doctors and nurses up until this point. So it's good to get out and talk to everybody and just feel like a human again, man.
Yeah.
And so I can't thank you enough for giving me that opportunity.
No, absolutely, man.
I
Anytime.
literally
It's 4 years in the making. You know that, right? I mean,
Yeah, it's been a long time. But, can you imagine if we did it back then? It would have been a completely different conversation.
Oh, yeah. We would have been arguing each other.
we would have been going at
How
it.
do you like this Biden fella? What the fuck? Darik, thanks again, brother. And I'll see you in a couple of weeks, baby.
All right.
Take care.